All right, everybody's probably wondering who this guy is. He's a homeless guy who just wandered into the building.
I'm not saying you're an expert in this field, but bacon or sausage?
I think you won the bacon sausage.
He is Hugh Johnson. He is a digital sports producer here at the Denver Post and also a fantasy football guru.
There we go.
And you're already starting to think about fantasy football, aren't you?
Of course. You know.
Why should we be thinking about fantasy football?
We're talking about fantasy football, yeah.
Well, I mean, some of us are just diehard fans, but I mean, most fantasy coverage people start paying attention coming up during the preseason. Sometimes it throws you for a loop. I mean, David Wilson, he was a hot guy 2 years ago, and unfortunately injuries kind of plagued him, threw a lot of guys for a loop. So nice to pay attention to the trends leading up to the season and, you know, just kind of get the full picture.
What do you pay attention to in the offseason, outside of the obvious things, injuries and arrests?
Trades.
I mean, obviously you got to take care of the moves, but like this, the draft, the suspension, like when I come on, we'll be talking about rookie receivers. Last year was a big year for rookie receivers and who you should keep your eye out for. But today, we're looking at Tom Brady and how the NFL rule change will affect the fantasy game.
All right, let's say he stays suspended for 4 games.
Right.
What are you doing on draft night?
You know, people are still thinking about taking him before week 10. Not week 10, I'm sorry, round 10. And so I'm thinking rounds 8 or 9, you're still looking for Tom Brady. He's going to be a great player. He's got some really juicy matchups heading into the fantasy playoffs. And I've actually got a graphic up here to show you guys of some of his matchups. So based off NFL.
You came prepared.
Yeah, I like to. Based on NFL.com's ratings here, these are the most fantasy points allowed to opposing quarterbacks. So week 9, he's got Washington. That's another good one. Third most is Philadelphia, NY Jets, the Giants. So you see ninth most is Denver. He's got a 10-1 TD to interception ratio for the last 4 years regular season games. And so he's also got his toughest matches at Buffalo in week 11. And so that's a divisional opponent. I don't really see him having trouble with that. He went 4-0 last year, TD interception ratio.
Well, Hugh, if you want to go quarterback heavy, you can take Tom Brady in that first or second or third round and then get another quarterback as a backup just to play the first 4 weeks of the season, right?
Right.
Then you got Brady the rest of the year.
Exactly. The only problem is he kind of tapers off as you head into the fantasy playoffs. Weeks 14, you go up against Houston. As you can see, they give up the 8th fewest points last year to fantasy quarterbacks. He struggled away against divisional opponents.
All his teams in his division are pretty good defensive teams.
Exactly.
Buffalo, the New York Jets, and help me out, Miami.
And Miami, I was about to say he struggled.
Suno.
He struggles away from Gillette Stadium against Miami and the New York Jets last 2 years.
Not to pee on your statistic here, but you're looking at the past. I mean, it would seem to me like if you're in a fantasy football league, it's not the past, it's the here and now.
Right.
I mean, how do you get ahead of that? I mean, really, just looking at, and you put a lot of hard work into that, and I'm sure people do and will pay attention to that, but really, how does that translate? Because that was last year. I mean, these teams, when you look at it, there's different coaches in Buffalo.
Right. There's different
Denver's got a
coach in
different
Buffalo.
coach. You know, Tennessee's got a new quarterback. I would think that to be effective, you've got to get ahead of it, not looking at what happened in the past. And coaches told me that when they go, we were supposed to have the fifth hardest schedule.
Right.
You don't know.
It's not an exact science before the season actually hits, but what we like to do is just kind of take care of, again, just the trends, see where teams are trending. Obviously, teams make changes throughout the offseason, but generally speaking, the trends hold true.
Hugh, how is the new the new extra point rule going to impact drafts?
Well, I actually got another graphic for you guys.
Wow, you really are prepared,
right?
Boy, you just team up, don't you? You should be caddy.
So here are the PATs made from last year. As you can see, the percentages are very high. Les, I watched you more with Les. You said there's not going to be much of a change. The thing is, the security on kickers is going to go down. I mean, the 56 points over a season for Dan Bailey, that's a lot of points. I put up the 30 to 39 range because that's where the new PATs will be taking place. A couple guys I would feel safe for would be Connor Barth. He's made 5 out of 5 so far. He hasn't played a lot of time with the Broncos. And Adam Vinatieri won 2 Super Bowls. Dude's got ice in his veins. So If the rule change does work and people start taking more 2-point conversions, I'm looking for quarterbacks, running backs, big body wide receivers, and tight ends to make some extra points.
Would you draft Tim Tebow?
No. And here's why you wouldn't draft him, Tebow. He's a quarterback. You have him listed a quarterback. Like, even if they score 5 touchdowns and he's a 2-point specialist alone, that's only 10 points. 10 points is terrible for a quarterback.
So a specialist, because I keep thinking about what the Broncos, if they took a refrigerator pair, you talked about the other day,
Right.
if they took their biggest defensive lineman and said, we're going to work with you every day on being a 2-yard buster, you wouldn't want to take a guy like that, you're saying? 'cause
Well,
it's
it
not
depends on
gonna
the
add up.
setups in your league. Normally, like a DL, you wouldn't be able to pop him into your league, into your lineup based on fantasy rules. But a guy you guys have talked about a little bit, Cody Latimer, he's a big body down there. He was
Yeah.
drafted for like red zone targets. He's a guy that is not on a lot of people's radar right now. You could take him as a flex, put him in. And if the Broncos keep the production they have been in terms of scores, he's going to have a lot of points for you.
Hugh, can you overthink this?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
But can I go back to that,
Yeah.
that again? I would ask you to do something. Since you put a lot of hard work in this, it's not going to be from the 39-yard line. It's going to be from the 32 or 33-yard line. Wouldn't it be more efficient if you are a fantasy Nick, if I can say that, to actually go back and look at all the kickers and say, this one's from the 32, this one's from the 33, this one's from the 30, 31, 32, 33. That if you're going to be that scientific about it, why not go ahead
Not
and
get
get
it to
somebody?
the exact. All right, well, I'll take you up on that. Next
Would
week,
you,
we'll
would you not agree? No, but would you not agree that a 38 or 39 yarder is not as automatic as maybe a 31 yarder?
Yeah.
I would guess, just guessing.
I would agree. I got that because that's the range they'll be kicking from. But I'll take you up on that. Next week, I'll come back with those statistics for you, for those kickers up there.
I
Sound
think,
good?
well, I might be able to help you. I think I don't quote me on this, but I think I remember reading that kicks that were 32 or 33 yards exactly last year, NFL kickers made 34 out of 35 of them.
Well, there you go.
That's basically an
that's-
extra point
yeah, that's
number.
still automatic.
Close to 100%. just like-
98%, so
yeah.
there wouldn't be any change then from if a guy was that accurate
Yeah.
there.
And the other thing is, and I brought it up in the commentary, coaches are conservative.
I
They're
understand that.
risk averse.
I have one more question
But
for
you also
today.
brought up in the reaction to the commentary about cold weather stadiums. And so depending on how the weather is, you could see more 2-point conversions.
Yeah.
So that puts more of a premium on guys like Eddie Lacy up in Green Bay and Rob Gronkowski, a big tight end over in New England.
Yeah.
Today, my final question, today, and you're not drafting today, but would you take Peyton Manning?
Yeah, of course you're taking Peyton Manning.
Well,
I think.
I don't mean, but I mean, if would you take him, you personally, you're in a league, assume you're probably in a bunch of leagues.
Right.
If he were available in the top 10, would you take him?
I would not take him in the top 10. Like you're talking draft picks 1 through 10. I don't think he's that guy. If you're going like that high on a quarterback, I'm going Andrew Luck or Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, 20. Would you take him in the top 20?
I absolutely would.
You take him in the top 10?
No, 20.
20, okay.
Hugh, I mean, this is still going to be a prolific offense.
Oh yeah. I would take him in the top 20.
I mean, he's got a lot of weapons.
So you would
I
take
mean,
him, would you take him in the top 10?
I'd have to see who went already.
Right.
If Rodgers is gone already and Luck is gone already, and I really want a quarterback badly, I'd be very tempted to take him at the bottom of the top 10. Yeah.
You got to remember Manning was number 4 last year, behind Wilson as well. So, in terms of scoring for quarterbacks, yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Behind Russell Wilson?
Behind Russell Wilson,
Because he ran in so many.
Right. Yeah, that running game.
Who were the top 4?
You're looking at Luck, Rodgers, Wilson, Manning, and then I think it goes Roethlisberger. I know Matt Ryan's in there. Brady's number 9. Ryan Tannehill, actually, who you've been talking about.
Yeah.
He's ahead of Brady.
Well, you've been watching, huh?
That's great stuff.
He's Hugh Johnson. He is the digital sports producer for the Denver Post, and he'll be talking fantasy with us for, well, once a week at least.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
All right. And that was sponsored by John Elway Cadillac of Park Meadows. It's Colorado's #1 Cadillac dealer.
When you go to buy a car, what do you really want? You probably want a lot of cars to choose from. And you want the dealership's best price. Not some starting price or target price, the best price. And you want it immediately, not after hours of negotiating. And you want a salesperson who doesn't get paid more if you spend more, because, well, you don't want to spend more. Well, you're in luck. John Elway wants all of those things too. Better yet, John Elway wants you to have all of those things too. Come see us or click on elwaydealers.com.